number 'cause you're changing on the fly. Hip checks, head tricks are gonna make them cheer. But the bombs turn to chirping riding high. Now it's time for action. Tonight's gonna burn this bar right up. Slap shot will light the lamp so nice. Let's go for a breakaway on the chains to raise the cup. We'll be standing on our heads till we meet them at center ice. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack, baby, and we'll meet you at center ice.
Oh, we had such an opportunity last night. Huge opportunity last night for your Florida Panthers, but they fell short. They did not grab the number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the playoffs. I had bad news for you on that front.
Nope. Last night, the NHL draft lottery took place.
Look at Big Dave with his 6 more games under his belt for the Pittsburgh Penguins talking that shit.
Congratulations.
6 more games, 5 more cups. What are we talking about?
Oh
If I would have asked, I should have posed this question before yesterday, but like if you could choose
3 more cups. Do math.
which team, the
Touché.
Panthers or the Heat, would you prefer getting the number 1 like winning their draft lottery this year? Who would you have chosen?
Not even close. The Heat.
Yeah?
The Heat, absolutely. They need a Wemby to fall out of the sky. They need a Wemby or a flag. They need something to fall out of the sky. And nobody outside of Sunrise feels bad for the 2-time champion Panthers dipping to number 9. They can't. How much luck do they need? How greedy are they going to get?
Didn't really dip. I think the main takeaway was that was a hell of a television program.
Oh, so good.
I felt like I actually had a chance at one of these lotteries because it was so transparent. I didn't know it was quite like that because, Dave, as long as I've been paying attention to hockey, which hasn't been very long because I'm from a swamp that, hockey didn't exist before.
And you may have heard Dan say, I don't even watch, but I'm trying it this year.
So this was my first time in the draft lottery. What a program.
So good. It was completely transparent.
I know, and yet the hockey world immediately declared it's rigged. Everybody wanted the Toronto Maple Leafs because, like we covered yesterday, and what is true and has been true in perpetuity, the Toronto Maple Leafs represent sort of the headquarters of the NHL. So it kind of suggests in the same way that David Stern was accused of rigging the 85 draft, so Patrick Ewing landed in Manhattan. People are now saying the same thing about the NHL.
I told you this was going to happen yesterday.
Roy called
You
it.
did.
Weeks ago, actually.
You did.
Roy, I was looking at that entire board, and I don't think there's a single GD team that the internet wouldn't have accused of the NHL rigging it for them outside of maybe the Seattle Kraken.
Really?
Yeah, you could make an argument. Like there was
Even
a
the Flames?
I
feel
there
like
wasn't.
Winnipeg would have been pretty non-controversial.
There were very few in which, they get Bedard and McKenna. The Rangers, of course. Vancouver, certainly they're rigging it for them. The Panthers, if the Panthers won this thing,
it would have been great.
It would have been even worse than the Maple Leafs reaction.
It was so cool, though, because I've never seen this before, certainly with the NBA, which we always watch every year. It happens behind closed. Ernst & Young, they're above board. They would never cheat. It's behind the scenes, and
I mean, it's behind the scenes, but there are people in the room.
Right.
Like,
but the viewer doesn't get to see anything. We just have to trust that everybody behind the scenes, that it all happened on the up and up. Maybe they were all paid off, everybody in that room. I don't
everybody
know.
was paid off.
I wasn't there.
My favorite part about the conspiracy about, like, hey, they gave it to someone over someone else is the idea that all the other franchises are like, you're right, Toronto does need this more than us.
Spurs really need Wemby.
So they actually drew the combinations in front of everybody, and it was so viewer friendly. Like there have been years where the NBA does it, and I don't know when they open up the cards. Like, all right, was that team supposed to be there? And you don't know. They don't make it viewer friendly. Here, you got the odds on the side of the screen. Every ball that comes up, the odds either go up or down, and then the Panthers name gets taken off. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. And it was a great viewing experience, except for the part that Toronto won the #1 pick.
It is. By the way, it is one of my favorite annual sporting events that doesn't involve any actual sporting. Is the lottery process? Who would the Le Batard universe send? Mike Ryan. You know how you dispatch your GM or a high profile star from the franchise. Who does Le Batard send as the rep for the big drawing of all podcast draft picks?
Probably George Clooney, the mascot for the Cyclones, who are once again going for another Battle Court championship this Friday, trying to make Battle Court history as the first team ever to go back-to-back, Jack. And I've been giving that some thought, Greg, and with your permission, you know how Pat Riley trademarked three-peat?
Yeah.
I think we should be able to trademark back-to-back Jack.
I like it. I'm on board. I'm a Clones fan. You know that. I'll be there Friday night.
Love you for it.
Yo, how creepy was it when they showed the Sedin twins representing Vancouver? That was creepy as hell last. Like, they're old now, and they're looking weird. And I mean, identical twins are, weird anyway.
You would think.
Easy.
I bet you that you just said the Sedin twins, and roughly half the audience, if I'm not even exaggerating that much, knows what you're talking about.
No, you're right.
I think it's a wild chapter in our lives of sports fandom that twins played Hall of Fame careers on the same team.
Identical.
The whole time. High-end players. They came and went. Nobody even knows who they are.
So they've literally, they've never been apart. Like, I remember, and it's the deal with twins, right? Because I remember when the Heat, when they signed Caleb Martin, and of course his brother Cody Martin at the time was playing for Charlotte. And I asked the question, and he confirmed it. That was the first time in their lives they weren't together. They've always been together.
Yeah, weird.
I have twins, so yes, this all of this completely tracks. If you think about most human beings, the person that you've exchanged the most communication with up until a certain point in your life is your mother, and then at some point you find your spouse, you get married, and then that person becomes the person that you've exchanged the most amount of words with in your entire life. With twins, it's each other. And that continues even after they grow up and get married and everything.
I'm married to identical twins. They talk on the phone on the way to work every morning.
He's married to one of the twins, not both of them.
Yeah,
you know
that'd be
that.
Yeah,
neat.
because the way you said it, you're married to identical twins. That's,
Baby.
It almost,
Polygamy. Both of them.
It almost happened. I had to choose.
My favorite twins are the Siamese twins of
I don't think you're supposed to say that one anymore. I think it's conjoined now.
conjoined twins.
We voted to say
Is it politically incorrect, and
Yeah.
why? I just would like to know the reason why. I'm happy to move on from it. It's sort of like we've discussed a few months ago. Is it now in our lifetime, in fact, in the last couple of years, is it so taboo to say the name of Washington's pro football team that in real time, like, it just became like, okay, it's vaguely inappropriate to say, to now, like, you shouldn't say it.
that
in
kind of
shared
happened.
spaces, right?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to say the name of the Washington pro football team or otherwise be taken to task for it,
Yeah.
right?
Dave, you'll love this. When I was doing radio on Mad Dog years ago, right around the time of the name change, me and Zach Harper, we opened the phone lines. If you've got a good explanation why we should continue using this racist name, then we'll hear it. We'll open it up. Whoever wants to call, and all these people are angry about the name change. Tell me why. And the first guy that called, it says, I propose that the Washington team not change its nickname, but change its mascot from whatever it is to a potato. So now they're the
Sure.
Washington Redskins potatoes.
Yep. Good
And,
spots.
and me and Zach will be all full of piss and vinegar. We're like, he's got a point, man. That's a great idea.
great
They
idea.
should have just been the Redskin potatoes, and then we
I
could
like that idea. It is trolling, of course. You're trolling people who are well-intentioned to say, like, and you're really wearing that for the rest of time. Like, yeah, just to stick it to people to be trolls. Our mascot
Syracuse.
is a potato.
Syracuse basically did this.
Yeah, they were like, it's orange.
Yeah.
Ah, we like
Hey, look,
oranges.
it's now a food.
Our mascot is like a big Mayor McCheese, only he's an orange.
But the conjoined twins of like the late 19th century, early 20th century. They had, I forget their names, but they lived in houses side by side. They were in the Guinness Book of World Records and all that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, weren't they connected by the head?
No, they were connected by a flap of skin at around their appendix
That
area.
one seems easy to.
Well,
work around.
apparently. Well, I don't know how. It must have been pretty easy
Especially
because
if it
one
was
of
the
them,
appendix.
they lived in houses next door to each other. They were both married. One of them had, I believe, 11 children.
That's ridiculous.
The other one had 10 children. And they would stay week to week in the other house. So it'd be like, well, now it's time to go and stay with my lady. And, of course, clearly based on the results, there's a lot of lovemaking going on.
What's that process like? Is the other one kind of just reading the
question.
paper?
It says.
That's the question. What is that like, Zaz?
I have to go back to Chris Cody here because I'm not sure that I knew this. I have to go back. So you're married to an identical twin.
That's right.
Okay, I have questions.
Go on.
First,
Not too many questions.
well, I know your father's sitting right next to me. It's a little weird. Okay, so first question.
No wonder they're into swinging at that house.
Were you
into
always able to
swinging.
tell them apart?
Not at the beginning when we were just dating. Her sister has like a beauty mark on her face, so I was like, mine's the one without that.
Okay. My next question is, a lot of times, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you think my sister's attractive, don't you? You clearly think her sister's attractive.
That's right. Undeniable.
If
Yeah.
you think your wife's hot, you think her sister is hot.
My sister-in-law's hot.
That's
There, I said
crazy.
it.
Right?
I've never
Yeah,
said
have
that to
to.
her before.
No, you got to say that though.
Well, you must think she's hot.
But Zaz, here's the deal. Everyone with a hot sister-in-law thinks their sister-in-law is hot. He's the only one who's allowed to say it out loud.
Aha.
That's the
true.
difference.
That's true. That's true.
Not like the rest of us are like, oh, my sister-in-law is terrible. Like, if you got a hot one, you're like, oh, my God, she's hot, but you just can't say it out loud.
Yeah, yeah. And are they actually different?
They're
course.
very similar in a lot of ways.
So how'd you choose?
The other one was taken.
Papa Cody, wait a second now. You experience this. I mean, do you find one more charming than the other?
At the very beginning, I too had difficulty telling them apart.
But do you like, now that you've gotten to know, presumably both of them pretty well, do you think that your boy made the right choice between the two?
I have to say that. I mean, of course he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course he did.
Now,
I love my daughter-in-law, but they're eerily alike.
what
not just physically.
What I'm about to admit now is a little embarrassing.
Go on.
There are times, in marriage, you're going through,
We know.
you're
We know,
like,
we know.
it's just, this is
I don't like where this is headed.
I don't either.
I do.
Where sometimes you just like, if you're trying to keep things fresh, you just
Oh,
imagine
no.
it's the other person.
Oh, no.
That's
no,
an
no.
unbelievable
no.
admission.
That
What's
is-
the matter with you, man?
I didn't hear
Suey. Hey, guys in the room outside, mark that down.
For
Suey
the record,
revelation.
did,
guys
you,
never
did
struggle?
everybody see as one of society's great empaths? Did you see me try to get in the way? Did you see me try to dive in front of that? He refused. He went. He plowed straight ahead.
He did.
You guys never struggle, huh?
Your wife clearly does
I
not listen to
mean-
this show.
Sure
What-
doesn't.
what-
you got,
what
you
in
got
hell
no
did-
worries
What
that
did you
this
just
is getting
say?
back to her.
Tony, how you feel about that admission?
Not great. Yeah, not great. Even though, admittedly, Chris says that his wife doesn't watch the show, which is good, right?
Very
So he
good.
feels like he can shoot from the hip here and not really be taken to task, like Dave said. Very good. But the issue is sometimes some things are so flammable and so big that they peer through the veil of Chris saying, "Oh no, my wife doesn't watch the show," where she's like, "You said what?"
That was,
Bigger than the show, man.
Bigger than the show.
Let's not clip this if we can.
that was an incredible admission.
It really
Greg,
was.
what did you make of all that?
A little bit unfortunate. I wish he hadn't said that. It could come back to
All
haunt.
right, you guys never struggle.
Well, in the context of this show, you can always say, I was just kidding. Of course I was just kidding. But will she believe you?
I was.
Okay.
Include that part in the clip so that she knows.
Okay.
So last night, the Marlins. All right, the Marlins. They lost again. They're now 4 games under 400. Whatever. There is apparently at the Marlins souvenir shop. I don't know if you guys saw this. All right, I haven't been to a Marlins game this year, so I certainly have not seen this in person. But did you see this, Greg? Where at Marlins games, they're at the souvenir shop. They have a mystery box. You know what a mystery box
I
is?
do not.
Yeah, so like when it comes to collectibles, like a lot of these collectible trading card stores, there'll be a mystery box where it's like you don't know what's in it, but you know there's gonna be some good shit. Autograph this or autograph this, maybe a jersey, maybe a helmet, maybe a ball, whatever. And they could be expensive because you're going to get some stuff of value.
How do you know? What if it's a lump of coal in there?
Okay, great question. So at the Marlins game, so this is an influencer, Snapback Sports, okay? And I guess he does content with trading cards and stuff like that. And so this guy bought one of the Marlins mystery boxes, $300, Greg. So in that cardboard box, you paid $300 for, mystery items. You're hoping it's going to be some great stuff, right?
Right.
All right. Give this a watch and listen what came in this box.
Hat? Think the hat is
it
signed.
licensed?
Don't think the hat is signed. Tough start, I think.
So $20, $35.
All right.
Signed?
Have to scan it. It's a game used, not signed.
Okay.
This item was recently authenticated, and the data associated is still under quality control review. What the is the point? Non-signed hat, and this is still under review.
So $50.
This jersey
in total?
better be the Great Johnston non-signed game use. Worst use of $300 you could possibly have is this box.
That is so bad. It was a hat, not signed. It's a baseball, which he they have like the sticker on it where you could see how much it's worth, what it is, and apparently it's still under review. And the jersey, not signed, is Tyler Johnston, who is no longer on the team, who you may remember at the beginning of this season was mother effing Marlins fans.
Oh yeah, that's right. When he came back, he's like, oh yeah. All right, so there's a couple of things in this video for the audio audience you guys need to know. This is in the middle of the game, but you wouldn't be able to tell by just looking at it because there's like 3 people in the entire stadium.
That's the middle of the game?
Yeah, I saw the Jumbotron and people were like waving and stuff like that. So it had to have been, number one. Number two, this box. I know what you think. It's a mystery box. Wow, does it have like cool designs on it, a big Marlins logo? Nope. It's something you get out of U-Haul. It's a regular cardboard box. Someone with a Sharpie wrote in handprint, number 3, $300, and then they stuck a Marlins sticker in the top left corner. Number 3, this dude looks a lot like Josh Bartelstein, who's the president of the Phoenix Suns. A lot.
Yeah, that was my main takeaway.
Yeah, me too.
This is so bad. Like these mystery boxes, it's supposed to be, all right, we're going to get some good stuff. I wonder what it's going to be. It's not, here's $300. I'm either going to get really good stuff or really shitty stuff.
Okay, dear influencer who just got ripped off, it's the Marlins. It's the team in baseball with the second lowest payroll with one player on the entire roster making a major league salary. What do you expect? You expect generosity from a team that is penurious and plays budget ball and just praise that their young guys are going to be both cheap and good when they grow up? It's the Marlins.
Powerful lesson, though, Greg. Life lesson about, the Marlins took an opportunity, their marketing department did, to send a message to not just this character, but to the world. Everything's not going to break your way. Right. To answer the questions, that you said earlier, what came in this box, I suspect it would be Chris Cody, so long as his wife's sister was in there. Sorry, I don't like to work blue. That's not my way to work blue.
Didn't feel natural when you said it.
That's not
you
who I am.
You kind of like speed bumped it the whole way.
That's not who I am. That's not what I'm about.
Plow through.
I can't believe this box. Baby. I can't believe that they thought that was an appropriate souvenir item.
Zaz, to Amin's point, they wrote $300 with a literal Sharpie on it.
So this guy's a sucker.
Oh, he's a big time sucker.
Apparently, they've sold 4 of those boxes.
No shit.
Year.
I'd like to see what was in the other ones. Maybe that guy just got a shit box.
A Troy Johnston jersey.
But like that's the disrespectful part. Like, okay, maybe if it would have been all the same things, but it's a player who's on the roster. I think you okay, all right. Like maybe it's not worth $300, but it's a pretty cool thing. You gave him a jersey of someone who doesn't play for the team,
who badmouthed the fans.
How hard is it to get a signed ball and a signed hat, because these are apparently game-used items, right? The hat, it's also a mystery as to whether or not it's your size. Probably not. So if a player wore it, he's just chucking it to a team equipment manager without signing it?
That's so bad.
Is this a joke? But are they attempting to sincerely troll the
I
fans?
would hope not.
They have to, but I think they didn't go far enough. If this guy was bad-mouthing the fans, it's pretty funny to do that to somebody. But if you're going to do that, then don't you put I don't know who their natural rival is, the Braves? I mean, whoever it is, don't you put a Braves jersey in there?
Yeah.
Guys, I hate to interrupt this thrilling conversation, but the audio audience, I don't know that they know this is happening. Chris is out in the hallway right here. He's on the looks like he just hung up.
No.
Or got hung up on.
No, wait.
He's arguing with somebody on the cell phone.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
I can tell who it is.
Like,
No, he's arguing.
yeah, it's not somebody, Zaz.
Could be the sister.
This is not good.
She's probably flattered right now. I don't think she'd be upset about anything.
Everyone's looking at him now
Wait,
out there.
hold on, Dave. You have the sister being like, huh? Like just kind of a little kind of flattered by the whole situation.
Well, I mean, back to where it started. Shouldn't Chris's wife? I mean, of all the misdemeanors or felonies that could be committed, this one's pretty good, right?
All right,
it's
he's back
flattering.
in here. All right, Chris just walked back in. Yo, what is going on? Or, I mean, I think we know what's going on. What is going on?
Word
She's
travels
not-
fast.
We got a bunch of sleuths in this audience. I don't know who told her. She's definitely not watching live. Somebody told her.
What did they tell her?
I mean, she's not thrilled.
What do you think, Zaz? They told her that when he can't get it up, he thinks of her sister.
She's just like, everything's not a bit, your whole life doesn't have to be a bit. At least she thinks it's a bit.
You said you were just kidding, and she said what?
She was just like, why am I getting text of it? Like, just not good. This is not good. Wow. I don't know who to. I think it's someone in our midst.
I blame Fuentes.
Yeah, someone in our midst.
He's an agent
told
of
her.
chaos.
I'm telling you, her friends aren't listening to this either. This is someone in our midst.
Wow.
The
Inside
call
job.
came from inside the house.
Is it Dan? You know he's up wild times, right? So it's like 6:20 on the West Coast. He's
You know how time zones work?
I know exactly how time zones work. Do you know how time zones work?
I do.
So Dan
Mountain confuses me, though.
Dan gets up super early, but super early on the West Coast is regular time for us, which means he might be watching the show. And Dan, we all know you can't trust Dan with any secrets. This guy is the biggest leaky faucet there is in all the land. I'm blaming Dan.
How do you feel about witnessing what just went down, Greg?
I'm not real happy about it. It's a bad situation.
Someone else be vulnerable. Someone else, Dave, give me something that you do in the bedroom that would get you in trouble.
No. Greg, do you want to take your boy to task here? I mean, I assume that's what upsets you, right? That's where your emotions are right now. The primary one is upset, like I thought I taught you better.
I mean, you're going to be given some love advice today, so this is actually not a bad spot.
Exactly.
You think the love doctor can help me here?
I've got a doctorate in the amorous arts, as most people
We're doing
know.
love advice today because Mother's Day is this weekend, and it was so popular when the love doctor checked in on Valentine's. So you're going to give us some love advice today.
House call.
Yeah.
Physician, heal thy son.
This is scramble days, like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before Mother's Day. Everyone's scrambling.
Yeah, what's annoying about this is that Christopher volunteered this controversy upon himself. He took a shit and then decided to step in his own shit. And not to use a bad language, I apologize
Good analogy there.
to all the kids listening. But I don't know what, as he's saying that, I'm like, don't go there. And he went there. And now
I made like
here
the
comes
Secret
fallout.
Service, I made like Eastwood in that movie from 30, 40 years ago, right? When Malkovich was trying to take out
Oh, In the Line of Fire.
In the Line of Fire. I made like
Great
Eastwood. I
movie.
dove in front of that
Yeah.
thing, and he said, "Get out of the way."
He,
Man.
he makes a gun out of wood.
No, yeah, right, plastic or something.
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
I think it was
3D printing back in the day.
3D
Yeah,
printing.
he makes it out of wood, and he puts the little. You know what? I don't want to give away how to get past security with bullets, so let's stop.
Can
right
I
there.
Yeah.
can I just say right now, I'll make a confession, not like Chris's confession, but a confession nonetheless. I don't understand how 3D printing works.
Neither do I.
How do you 3D print a gun? I just don't understand. I'm not asking how do you do it. I'm just saying how does that even work?
Right.
A printer just and then now it works like a regular. How
I
does that
think of
work?
Chris Cody's wife's sister. Really helps.
So we are in week number 2 now. I'll help you out here, Chris. I'll change the topic.
Thank you.
We are in week number 2 now of keep Michael Yormark the hell away from the University of Miami and South Florida.
Is it working?
Well, I don't know. Mike would be a good person to ask here. The University of Miami athletic director position is open. 2 weeks ago, we learned that upon Dan Radakovich stepping down, he's retiring, that it was reported that Michael Yormark has been offered the job. And then it turned into, no, he hasn't been offered the job, but he's at the top of the list. Well, we're going in week number 2 of, like I said, keep Michael Yormark the hell away from University of Miami and South Florida. Where do we currently stand, Mike Ryan?
Well, Michael Yormark does not have the job yet. And that is a success for those who care about the University of Miami.
Have you heard of anyone you know? Have you heard a single person say, I think he'd be good for the job?
Clearly, some influential boosters do think that he's the man for the job. Now, you can draw a line. Like David Epstein is a member of the board. He was a minority owner of the Florida Panthers. So he was with the Panthers. He obviously has good things to say about Michael Yormark. And in defense, a meager defense of Michael Yormark, that wasn't the greatest ownership group. And it was a tough job at the time that he had it. Much better ownership group now means it's a much better job. But also the people that are in place right now had to dig themselves out of a massive hole that Michael Yormark left them into. I had a different experience working for Michael Yormark, not part of the ownership group, and I think he'd be a terrible athletic director for the University of Miami. He's purported to be this deal maker. I have zero evidence of that. Made bad deals. In fact, did a lot of self-dealing with the Florida Panthers, and David Sampson gave voice to why all the other team presidents were really upset with Michael Yormark, considering what he did to the sponsorship marketplace. Also, just not a good guy.
Yep.
Not a good
personality.
personality.
That's the experience that I knew of.
Not a good guy. Bad to work for. A high-stress environment. Not a lot of production. Not a lot of efficiency. And I just do not see how his personality type, which, I don't know, may have changed in the last 20 years, I do not see how that personality type works with the people in place in Coral Gables right now, primarily Mario Cristobal. I do not want Michael Yormark anywhere near Mario Cristobal.
The athletic program is in such a good spot right now. You could say as great a spot they've been in a very long time, just all-encompassing. And to add such a toxic person into the mix here would be so incredibly disappointing.
Can you go back very quickly, for my sake at least? I bet some of the audience too. Cliff's notes it for me very quickly, Zaz. Why the hatred of this guy? Because I see you talking on social media about it.
Got to keep
Mike
away.
Ryan just touched on it a little bit. What is the history of this cat? I'm sorry, I don't know much about him.
He was the CEO of the Florida Panthers for about a dozen years. And during those dozen years, the Panthers, you could easily make the case, were the most embarrassing, pathetic franchise in all of professional sports. Just completely incompetent. And Mike mentioned, the money aspect, the business aspect of it, which is supposed to be his acumen, but we didn't see any of that with the Florida Panthers. And most importantly, at least to me, this was a nasty man. The way that he treated people, the way that he made people feel in the environment, people who I know were incredibly hard workers and care very, very much about the Florida Panthers, the way that he would treat these people was repugnant. This is a man who needs to, and by the way, once he left the Panthers, because ownership changed, he was out. They're one of the great organizations now. Not just the winning.
Yeah.
The winning's obviously fantastic.
So
but
12 years is not a small sample.
But a completely competent franchise. Great franchise now. This man should South Florida does not want Michael Yormark anywhere near.
Mike, I ask this honestly. You're a Golden Cane. You're on the inside. What is the process of hiring a new athletic director? Like, who's in charge of that? Who makes the decision ultimately?
So this is going to be Joe Echeverria's call, and he has a brain trust that he leans on. Now, Michael Yormark was at games back in September. We saw him at a game.
I saw him. I pointed out to you when you brought me to the Canes game. Oh, it's Michael Yormark.
And I'm like, he's been here. And the word was back then he was angling for Dan Radakovich's job, and successfully, I might add, because this was all being done in backroom deals. And the reason why it was reported that he had been offered the job is I don't even doubt that he was, but he was just offered the job by somebody who doesn't actually have the power to do so, who thought they could just, tuck it on.
So maybe it was kind of like, hey, do you want the job? And
there wasn't anybody else angling for this job, and Michael Yormark's best chance to become athletic director at the University of Miami was this being done in a back room and just tucked in behind the scenes.
And then people found out.
And then people found out, which was the worst thing to happen to Michael Yormark. And this is not – I understand there's a lot of politicking, and we haven't mentioned any other candidates. For me, it's cut and dry. Anybody but Michael Yormark.
Yep.
Yeah, I could not, hand to God, recommend a worse candidate than Michael Yormark.
Yeah, like if someone went up to you and said, who would be the worst candidate of people who might be qualified and names might be thrown out there, who would be the worst candidate to be the new AD at the University of Miami? Michael Yormark would be the one that'd be like, there's no talking me into this.
Best I can tell, the thing that he has going for him is who his brother is, which is not where we want to be. Miami's not Big 12. Okay, so
another identical twin situation.
Like whoever the AD is not going to have this experience in conference realignment, I don't think. And they're just assuming that because of who his brother is, he has that. From what I can tell, his brother's done a good job at the Big 12. His brother's not Michael Yormark. I don't understand what we're doing just because who his brother is. 12 years down here in this market, mismanaging what has now become a premier franchise in the NHL. So I think that the University of Miami has seen the feedback to this. And I saw this coming, and I was like telling people like that we cannot be serious.
I was disgusted.
But people had no idea. People had no idea about the Florida Panthers prior to what they've done on the ice here recently. And I was warning people. I'm like, I worked for this guy. You have no idea the reputation this guy has in town. I had to invoke David Sampson's name. I'm like, he's in that tier of loathe the local executives. And that's when people started to get it. Like, David Sampson.
David Sampson thinks Michael Yormark's despicable.
So, okay, I got a question, Mike. Are the people involved in the decision-making, are they not from here? I would think that someone who works in sports in South Florida would be as kind of up-to-date on these things.
I mean, how do you think a snake oil salesman becomes successful?
Get a lot of snakes.
He's conning folks. And the people that were kind of in on him had no idea about Panthers hockey.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It just seems to me if you're going to hire somebody – and he's been here in our market before, wouldn't you talk to the people in our market who worked with and for him?
It's bewildering. It's a guy that presents well, obviously has gone pretty far in life handling things a certain way. He knows how to present. He knows how to impress the right people, and he did. However, this thing has been drawn out. They have seen the reaction to this. It has absolutely given everybody pause. I do think that they are, as they said, conducting a more formal search. I don't think that they've actually reached out to firms to do this. I think that they have a couple of candidates in mind. They do have an interim leadership in place. I would not discount the chances of the people that they've temporarily put in that spot. There have been a couple of other names out there reported: Jeff Purinton, Jim Frivola. I think that anybody is an upgrade over Michael Yormark. For me, I can endorse another candidate, but that's not what this is about. I want them to hire whoever they feel is best, provided that person is not Michael Yormark. He would be a disaster.
I endorse Jim Frivola.
I do too.
My question is this for you guys. First of all, it sounds like you're describing both sides of the Canseco brothers when you're talking about the Yormark brothers. It sounds like Michael has the talent of Ozzie Canseco and is as big an asshole as Jose is, or worse.
That's really well put.
Which offends you more, though, as a fan? Are you, Zaz, because you wear it on your sleeve, which I appreciate. We park our cars in the same emotional garage on that front. We wear it. Do you resent him because he's an asshole? That's why you don't want him touching the U? Or is it that you think he will bring them back to mediocrity?
I resent him because what I've seen with him running the business side of one of my the things in life I enjoy the most, he was terrible at it, and the team was embarrassing. So I wouldn't want something like that to happen to the University of Miami. But also, I don't have time for nasty people. I don't have time for it.
People often confuse assholes with alphas, and I think that's kind of what's happened with Michael Yormark. He was the worst kind of person to work for because it wasn't just that he was abrasive. Look, I've run into different managers. Some people aren't people, and they still get results. He didn't get results. A dozen years in this market of them being an embarrassment, and on top of that, a miserable culture where he meddled in a lot of things that he shouldn't have been. He was in the era of broadcasters, and he was a tyrant back then. It just not at all a match with the culture that Miami has worked so hard on changing. They have really good people in place. I want someone to be an ally and a bridge between the athletic department and the football team, which is now a huge revenue generator. And this guy's a meddler. He is a glory hound. He is the worst possible personality to drop into that athletic department. Trust me, I know. I was there for 2 years.
You say, you just said, I think it's an important distinction as you interact with other human beings. There are assholes, and then there are asses. And that's an important line to make. I would rather be given a choice. I'd rather be the asshole because it means you have some gravitas. It sounds to me, long and short, this guy is both an asshole and an ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Just bad at his job. But really, really good. If his job is climbing without actually putting results there, he's amazing at that. He's amazing at tricking people into thinking he's good. He's not good. He's bad.
He's the opposite of good. Greg, it's your time to shine. The Love Doctor is opening up its doors for business. Why don't you go on over there? Go get to your office.
Okay.
All right.
I got to get into my scrubs.
Yep. Get to your office. The Love Doctor.
Scrubs.
He's going to be giving out the advice Mother's Day. Now, we did that. You gave great advice for Valentine's, all right? Now, Mother's Day is not Valentine's. They're close. It's close. But it's still very important advice. So we're gonna get some questions for him, right? And we're going to see if he can help us out.
Listeners sent in questions, so it should be fun.
Okay, perfect. So the Love Doctor, he's going to go change into his scrubs. That's what he said he's going to. He's going to change into his scrubs. He's going to.
Is he a love surgeon or a love doctor?
No, doctors wear scrubs too.
Doctors wear scrubs.
Yeah.
Well, then they're going to surgery, right?
Yeah, but you want to be comfortable. Who knows when surgery's going to start? You can be called in. You don't want to say, okay, emergency surgery. All right, let me get dressed. No,
It's a humble brag.
You want to be ready to go.
Wait a second. If you're a doctor, do you think you'd rather be in scrubs or in a regular lab coat?
All right, maybe we'll ask the Love Doctor.
Ball is dead.
The knuckleballer is dead now, correct? Completely dead. There's no one. Is there anyone throwing the knuckleball now?
Someone has to be throwing.
Yeah. I would say Tim Wakefield was
None of us
bad.
have one. We're just like, yeah.
No, there has to
There's
be.
got to be. Well, wait a minute. The knuckleballer didn't go extinct without anyone telling us.
As long as there's breath in my lungs, there's a knuckleballer out there.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. As long as there is breath in your lungs, will there be a knuckleballer out there?
There should be more because if you notice, I mean, I don't have any stats to back this, but I don't care. I'm going with it regardless. I would say that the position players that are pitching have a much better ERA than average pitchers do. Because they're all just going out there throwing the ball like 35 miles an hour, and the hitters are so confused that they just get under it, they pop up. Like, nary a run is scored off of a position player. Sometimes, but not always.
I loved when baseball analysis was starting strong. I loved the people who would do the analytics on how a knuckleballer would screw up your hitters the next day. The preparing for a knuckleball would screw you up the next day as well because you're sitting out there hitting those 45-mile-an-hour butterflies.
There's nothing that I hated more, like growing up watching the Marlins, than when Jamie Moyer was coming to play against them. And I don't even remember if he was a knuckleballer or if he could just
No,
only
it
hit
was just
75.
slop. It was just slop.
He could
It wasn't
only
a-
hit
he
like
was not a knuckleballer.
72.
He was just old, and he threw croutons up
Anytime
there.
there was a
Tossed salad.
knuckleballer or just an old man that could throw the ball really slow, I knew like this team can only hit fastballs, and this is going to be a long day and a long week because they're not going to be able to figure it out.
And it's frustrating because you're just seeing these meatballs go over the plate. You're like, how can you not deal with this? This is so slow. Hit the baseball. And yet Jamie Moyer had a 20-year career. He was 40. He was still pitching.
What is the ruling of the committee? Is Stugotz is nominated? I need some sort of formal ruling from the committee. He has nominated Joe Musgrove. Billy is passionately against. Chris, are you willing to give him horse status because horse status is before ace? Horse is not an ace.
Chris, before you answer, I have good news on the knuckleballer front. There is still one remaining. Mickey Janis of the Orioles is still throwing it. Okay?
The worst team in the league.
He's still out there, though, keeping the species alive.
It also
will not
seems
go
though
extinct.
Mickey Janis has only pitched one game in 2021.
Oh,
in Major League Baseball.
He's still
He is
trying.
currently-
Still breath in my lungs.
Yeah.
He is currently with the Chicago Dogs of the American Association of Professional Baseball, which I don't think is in Major League Baseball. So
it is extinct.
So it is extinct for now, yeah.
But extinct in the majors doesn't make it extinct as a
Hibernating, yeah,
species.
exactly.
This may surprise you, Dan, but there are only 33 pitchers who have ever thrown a knuckleball in a major league game, according
that's
to
wrong.
Wikipedia.
That's
Which
wrong.
I was surprised how small that number was.
I don't think that's wrong, Billy. Why would you think that that's wrong?
That's wrong.
Let's all name knuckleballers we can think of and see if
Well,
they're
no,
on
we'd
there.
never come up with 33 of them. 33 sounds about right to me. It's a terrifying way to make a living. Imagine all these guys. They're just failed pitchers who developed some other.
Whoa!
Failed pitchers.
Someone with like a 15, 20-year career is a failed pitcher?
Well, Jimmy
Whoa.
Moyer is not a knuckleballer. You made him a knuckleballer just because he throws
Tim
soft.
Wakefield
Soft
pitched,
tosser.
yeah, across decades.
There are a couple of guys who are exceptions, but largely the knuckleballer is a novelty freak who comes out, and it is hard to make a living
Freak.
that way.
Jeez.
Rick, what are you
I don't
doing?
like how you're describing these things.
Right?
Rude.
Isn't Phil Niekro in the Hall of Fame? I mean,
Is he? I don't think so.
you don't think so?
He is in the Hall of Fame.
319 wins.
There are 4 knuckleballers.
What was his career?
What's your
Baseball
standard
Hall of
for the
Fame.
Hall of Fame?
No,
He
that's
also
my
had
that's my bad.
274 losses.
No, that's my bad. He just pitched forever, and I should know that. And
Nickname Nuxty.
if you get,
Compiler.
if you get,
Nuxty.
that is a classic compiler right there. Phil
Dangerous
Niekro in
nickname.
the Hall of Fame with 300 wins and 280 losses.
Jesus, he pitched for 24 years.
He
He
had a-
started 716 games.
He had a 3.35 ERA. I mean, that's legit good.
He pitched in Major League Baseball until he was
It's not?
48.
You're right, Stugotz. I stand corrected. It is my bad. I should have known. I think of Phil and Joe Niekro as the same kind of pitchers, and they are not. Joe Niekro was not a Hall of Famer, and Phil Niekro was. But go ahead and Google image search Phil Niekro so you could see. Please enjoy. I want you visually to enjoy what he looked like in a Braves uniform, and you tell me if that is a baseball Hall of Famer. The way that you look at bodies today,
It's like Christopher Lloyd.
you need.
He does.
He looks like
Doc Brown.
He looks like Gary Busey in that movie with Henry Rowan Gardner. What was it, Rookie of the Year?
He looks like a bit. Also, Gaylord Perry looked like this too. The old pitcher in the movie Major League, the old slop ball thrower. He's just an old man on the mound, is what he is. Jessica, what is your opinion here?
He looks like
That is
a
not him.
retired chemistry
Wait a minute.
professor.
Yes,
That's him when he's still
yes,
playing?
yes.
His hair is so long, and I think
He
it's
looks
coming out of his
62
ears.
years old. He's
Look at
wearing
that
a
picture.
polo under that shirt.
Listen to
That
me.
can't be right.
This is what.
He looks like Uncle Dick.
Listen, when you could throw the
Yeah.
knuckleball
Uncle
the way
Dick got a
Phil
hole in
did,
one.
He does look like
right?
a
He
Cody.
did. You could pitch
It's the
forever.
ear hair.
Yeah.
Great Cody's Back in My Day, featuring in-flight magazines.
In-flight magazines. Slayed the pandemic. Traveling again. Big bird up. But something's different. I look in the seat pocket in front of me, and all I see is
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
He's the host of FS1's First Things First, also What's Right with Nick Wright, the podcast. He joins us. Hello, Nick. How are you? Good to see you.
What up, everybody? How's it going? Zaz, Damashek. I'm not sure who else is there. I'm only seeing one camera right now, but go. Well, I mean, I see.
All right, we got Tony.
kicking
Say
the
hello to
camera, of
Tony.
course.
Go ahead. Say hello to Tony. Nick.
Pulitzer Prize winner.
What up, Tony?
What up, Nick?
Where's the Pulitzer Prize winner? Oh, Amin. What up, man? How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you. It's pronounced Pulitzer.
We got Roy here. Say hello to Roy, Nick.
I don't need to say hello to the whole room.
Oh,
man.
all right.
I mean, I like.
Well, not good enough for
It's
hello.
weird that we stopped with Roy, but anyway. Last night, Nick.
Why is it weird we stopped with Roy? Go ahead.
There's only one more.
Why is it? Tell me.
I thought you were an ally.
I didn't say hi to Mike either.
Yeah,
Had to remind you to say hello to me. It's just a bad look. What's wrong?
Mispronounced Pulitzer?
Good. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm delighted to be here. Also, by the way, let's just lean all the way into it. I had no idea Dan was not going to be here today.
What does that change?
Let's see how this goes.
Okay. So that seems
I
like a
don't know.
note for our guest bookers that he just gave over the air.
Yeah, great start.
All right, Nick. Is Luka coming back? Does LeBron need Luka? Does Luka need to come back? Because fans seem a little frustrated at this point.
Listen, he had a tough hand. I think we all maybe overestimated the impact of Spanish medicine, as it turns out. As we approach America 250, maybe a rare moment in 2026 of patriotism, because Anthony Edwards stayed domestic. He's back in 6 days. Austin Reeves, who doesn't appear to have a 1% of muscle definition anywhere on his body, he's stayed domestic. He's back early. Luka, he goes overseas. He seems to be behind schedule. So I don't know. But since you started there, Mike Ryan, I do have a question for you. Did you happen to catch an interview Mike Breen did recently and what he said about LeBron James and his longevity?
What did he say?
Did he say that he's going to be an all-star at age 50?
Well, he said he could play at 50. So Mike Breen, the voice of the NBA, he goes to the finals every year. He was not asked whether he'd be an all-star or not, but he said Mike Breen, unbiased journalist, Mike Breen said LeBron could play another 8 to 9 years. Well, he's 41. 8 to 9 would put him at 50. I'm simply saying because the odds are LeBron won't play until 50. To settle who was right on our wager, would LeBron be an all-star at age 50 or not? We're just going to need to kind of, context clues, and I would say that's another one in my favor.
Are they going to win any games this round?
Maybe one. And then, listen, I'm sure Zaz and, folks of your ilk will move the goalposts this round the way you did last round, where it went from the Lakers have no shot, they're going to get swept, and then in a few days it was actually change of heart. The Rockets are awful. I just wasn't paying attention all year. No one would get swept by this team, and this means nothing. And then 2 days later, you know what? Third change of heart. The Rockets no longer awful. In fact, the Rockets might have a chance to be the first team ever to come back from 3-0 down. And if LeBron does that, holy shit, what does that mean for his legacy? And then 2 days later, after the Game 6 masterclass, no, the Rockets are awful again. It's all Kevin Durant's fault. So right now we're at the spot of the series of the Lakers are probably going to get swept and are, deserve to be swept probably given the talent disparities. But if they get one single solitary win, the conversation will go to, Oklahoma City, overrated? Because that's kind of what folks need to do as we see a 41-year-old being the story of the NBA playoffs.
Nick, how surprised were you that LeBron, after the game, when asked, like, hey, how can you guys fix your offensive issues? He immediately just said, well, we're missing Luka, as opposed to kind of the usual playoff speak we hear, well, it's next man up and we just got to be better or whatever. He immediately went to, well, we're missing a 35-point-per-game scorer, so that's it.
I think isn't that correct?
It's correct, but I've never thought I'd hear LeBron speak in that way because that feels a little nihilistic, to be honest with you.
LeBron at this stage of his career, has usually been pretty honest about where his team is. Was it this year, Amin? It was I think it was this year, after a game. It might have been last year after a game against the Celtics. One of the last 2 years. Sorry, I don't need to get bogged down in the details. The Lakers got clocked by the defending champ. So it was either this year against the Thunder or last year against the Celtics. And he was asked about it, and he was like, well, they're a championship team and we're not. Like, flatly. Like, they're a championship level team and we're not. And he is correct that the only, real fix would be getting Luka back. With that said, if I'm the Lakers and they are going to need 15 things to go perfect to win this series. But one of them is, and maybe one of the hardest to accomplish, is doing what they did last night to SGA multiple times. I mean, the fact that I thought the SGA thing was really interesting. And listen, the guy's about to be a 2-time MVP. He is already one of the 35 greatest players ever. He's a champion. He also can be maddening to watch. And I do think that it is noteworthy that in the first quarter, on 3 separate occasions, he tried to do his, just utter nonsense of, I have no hope of even making a basket here. I just have a hope to flail and get to the line. The refs didn't give it to him, and it led to the fewest points he has scored in a calendar year. And it led to him turning the ball over. I do think part of what makes SGA so special and so unstoppable is he sets the tone with defenders early of, you better not even get close to me or I will end up at the line. They then adjust how they feel they can guard him, and then he scores 30 points. Last night, the refs weren't going to be tricked by it early. They did get tricked by it once or twice, but it threw him off his game a bit. That has to happen. Bron has to do what he did last night, which is everything offensively with efficiency, which is going to be hard every other day. And then, obviously, they need Austin Reeves to play better, but Reeves is, right back off an injury. He's going to be up and down a bit. They need all of that to get 1 game, much less to get 4. They're probably going to lose the series. I mean, there's a reason that the Thunder were minus 3,000 for the series.
Nick, what did you make of Jaylen Brown's post-mortem, especially the next day when he was on the stream and what he was saying about Embiid, about him, wanted to be... Go ahead, yep.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought the Embiid stuff was the least objectionable of it all.
Yeah.
I thought you say right. A lot of people, that's what they focused on. The
Embiid stuff was certainly accurate. Yes, no, I agree with you.
That's the thing. It's a little sore losery, but it is accurate and fine. Like, guys talk trash to each other a bit. Talk trash, however you want to put it. Point those things out with each other. That's one thing. The other stuff was bananas. And I really do think it was. So here is where I've landed on this. Because Jaylen Brown is such a unique personality in the NBA because he is so incredibly thoughtful, so obviously bright, does really important, good work outside of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't seem like he would do anything impulsively. And so him saying, with those fellas,
that's his
behind
crew,
him with the glasses, I don't know if that's his crew, man. I can't believe one of those guys is a Celtics Twitter guy. No, one of them's a guy from Celtics Twitter who tweeted about it and was like, it was such a thrill to be there and share. So like, I don't know. But him saying this was basically my favorite season of my career because he's such a smart, thoughtful guy, to me, he knows how that is going to be perceived. Like, wait a minute. The year where your wingman was out recovering from a torn Achilles, and you guys not only didn't win a championship, but for just the second time in your whole career got popped in round 1, and you did it in mortifying 3-1 collapse fashion. That was the favorite year of your career. To me, if he were a dope, you'd be like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Because he's such a smart guy, isn't that him signaling to the team, I'd like my own team?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't, consider it that this has maybe been an awesome 10 years, but if you end up deciding that, hey, Atlanta wants me, you want Giannis, and Milwaukee wants their pick back from Atlanta and some other stuff, I'm amenable to that. And by the way, that could be a win-win-win trade. I think Jaylen Brown with Jalen Johnson and that Atlanta team is interesting. Atlanta's got the right contracts and the right draft picks to send to Milwaukee. And Giannis could maybe help stymie Boston and Missoula's fetishes. How do I say it, Amin? Fetishization? How do I say it? Thank you, Amin.
Well, why do you ask Amin? Is that because he's a Pulitzer? He's the only one who would know?
Yeah. If I have to go to Amin or you for pronunciation, I'm going to Amin. I would have maybe gone to Damashek, but I don't know if Damashek is even talking to me. Did I make Damashek mad because I made fun of the Steelers yesterday? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, listen, I'm more than happy to jump in on making fun of the Steelers right now, too. I don't know if you heard. They're waiting on a 43-year-old man.
I know! Can we talk? Just to finish, let me finish my Missoula thought,
Please.
and then if we could talk about that. And getting Giannis could help stymie Joe Missoula's, now say the word for me, because I can't say it.
Fetishization
of the three-point shot.
I could have done
you.
that.
Good teamwork.
Nick, before
Go
we
ahead,
let
Zaz.
you... Nick,
do it. Say it.
No, you do it.
Say it.
Fetishization.
Almost.
Nailed it.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's good luck for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such
Can't
great
do
advice?
this with Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl, which you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary, also.
I don't like. This isn't. Again, I might need a mean here. This isn't kayfabe. Kayfabe?
Kayfabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
Kayfabe.
Thank
Wrestling
you.
nerd here at your service.
This isn't.
Zaz could have
Thanks,
helped there.
Mike Ryan. This isn't kayfabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't need any relationship advice, apparently, because he's happily married. And
happily married.
He's
yeah.
keeping his
I wonder
eye
what
on that.
Do you think maybe he and his wife, maybe we'll finally see them out together on Valentine's Day? That'd be nice. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, no, listen, he loves ball. You know, that's the thing. That's what you learn when you're around Aaron Rodgers. When you share the football building with him, he's all about ball. Also, you got to kiss his ass all spring long for him to ever show up. Explain to me from a more objective point of view what the thinking is here in the quarterback league that you're waiting out a guy that no one else wants. Omar Khan, the general manager, knows ball better than the other 31 franchises?
No, listen, Dave, I think it's inexplicable and it's mortifying for a prestige franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were a Steeler fan, I would be pleading with ownership to recognize we are not, and Dave, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I bet I'm not, we are not as emotionally wrapped up in this meaningless, haven't had a losing season streak as you guys are. We are totally fine with doing what basically every successful franchise has done at some point post Hall of Fame quarterback, which is get our teeth kicked in for a season with young guys and reset the thing. If they want to trot out Drew Aller, if they want to trot out Will Howard and see if they got a Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott style mid-round diamond in the rough, fine. And if you didn't, then use the bad season so next year you can finally start over at quarterback. But the idea that the Rooney family would work on this guy's timeline, it would be embarrassing if he were the 8th best quarterback in the league. But since he's closer to the 28th best quarterback in the league, it's inexplicable. And I don't know why they are still treating him as if he is just awesome. And we have no evidence for 4 years, dating back to his final year in Green Bay, that he's awesome. So I just don't get it. I don't get it at all.
It does feel suspended by the name brand that is Aaron Rodgers, which is deep in the rearview mirror at this point. I don't necessarily hate, as a fan of the Steelers, them attempting to fuel the plane at 30,000 feet instead of taking the step back. They are now jammed up, though. There is nowhere to go. They have left themselves. They didn't chase Malik Willis. They didn't chase Kyler Murray. They could have chased Sam Darnold harder a year ago. They could have taken Jackson Dart or Tyler Shuck. They instead they could have tried to trade up for Ty Simpson. They instead act precious. They go to, you like to head out to Vegas. They seem to perceive themselves to be someone in a position still able to make sober place bets at the craps table and try and work their way. No, man. You missed the boat repeatedly on quarterbacks. You now have to go to the roulette wheel and put it all on a number and spin it and hope it pays off. You need to be taking swings until you get the quarterback position solved. You need to be drafting Jackson Dart. We don't think he's a fit for us. You aren't in a position. You're not in that position of luxury. You're not a contender. You're irrelevant until you solve the only position that really matters in the QB.
But so, listen, I agree with all that. But you're saying that, they've basically left themselves boxed in. And what I'm saying is, listen, maybe it is, a very small likelihood dart throw. But why can't what you're saying about Jackson Dart just apply this year to Drew Aller? And just be like, listen, you're starting, kid. Third-rounders started before.
In the last half decade or so, I think there's a decent case to be made that the progressive play call or the offensive coach has now outstripped the value of the guy at the trigger. I mean, look around, look at Ben Johnson in Detroit, what he did with Jared Goff. Ben Johnson then fixes Caleb Williams. Look at Brock Purdy. Who would you rather have if you're a Niners fan? Kyle Shanahan or Brock Purdy?
Or
Who's
Purdy.
more significant
Kyle
in that?
Shanahan.
There are examples of that through the league, and if you buy that Mike McCarthy, who's a little long in the tooth compared to the so-called QB whisperers, that peer group, he has developed consistently for a quarter century QBs. He must like Drew Aller. They do not make that pick in the third round if he is not into Drew Aller. I'm with you. He is a flawed product. It is a long shot that it's going to work out. But also, for what it's worth, 20 years ago, Aaron Rodgers, coming out of Cal, another high pedigree guy, was obviously deeply talented, but he also held the ball up by his ear. Do you remember that with Jeff Tedford, his college coach? Yeah. And they had to get him out of that. They had to fix him. Go fix this guy now. I know it's a longer shot than Aaron Rodgers.
Of course it's a long shot, but here's the thing. Here is what is 100% certain. There is a 0% chance, 0%, that 3 years from now, Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is a non-0% chance that 3 years from now, Drew Aller is.
That is exactly right. This is a road to nowhere. This is a one-off.
It's a road to nowhere.
That you know,
and
Nick.
You did it already.
That you know,
it's so
Nick.
Silly.
That's exactly right. You have the evidence. You've gone to TJ Maxx and found some brand name steals in Russell Wilson, then Aaron Rodgers.
You're parking your cars in the same garage.
That you're going to go back to that well when you know that the result. The evidence has already told us whatever he does is not going to end in a Super Bowl trip. So then why would you go down that path? There is no value in a one-off season for Aaron Rodgers. Instead, though, let's move to the AFC West.
Nah, we got to let him go.
Nick's
got to go.
He's busy. We got to let him go.
Go ahead. What were you going to take a shot at the Chiefs?
Not a shot. I find it a fascinating three-horse race between the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos. Good luck figuring out who emerges from that trio.
I'll tell you who will. And I do have to go, but I'll say this: the Broncos, they won 14 games. Bo Nix outplayed Josh Allen in a playoff game. I will begrudgingly. Sean Payton called a shot. I will begrudgingly give them their respect. It is not a three-horse race. The Chargers are an idea more than they are a contender. And they are every single year. I hear about what a sick roster they have, and this is the year. And then every year when they fall flat on their face, I hear how Justin Herbert needs more help. The Chargers are not a consideration. The Chiefs and the Broncos should be fun. I do have to go. It is great to see you guys. Chris Cody, you've used some of that gambling money I sent you to pay for therapy, bro. I'm sorry you went through that.
Nick, say goodbye to Roy.
You know what? I have a great relationship with Roy. I get all of my hockey and knowledge through Roy. I'm not going to allow you to imply what you're implying. I'm good with Roy. I'll talk to you guys later.
FS1's First Things First. What's Right with Nick Wright. Thanks, Nick. Oh, no, he already left. All right.
By the way, the Broncos, I think, as Nick kind of hints at, I don't think we're talking enough about that they're the prohibitive favorite in the AFC, right? I mean, they would have gone to the Super Bowl 6 months ago if Bo Nix isn't hurt. Then they get Jaylen Waddle. This is the team to beat in that conference, right? I know it's
the Jaylen Waddle
in the conference.
Yeah, in the conference.
There is nothing more confusing to me than analytics people caping up for Jaylen Waddle. I just have never seen it. I've seen, I always have a TV locked onto the Dolphins so I can talk about the Dolphins.
Caught a lot of balls in his rookie year.
He was good in his rookie year, no doubt, and I know he's good going deep. The numbers suggest that. You watch the games, though, and you see him run to the sidelines a half a dozen times a game, sometimes never to return. I don't get it. Now, Denver, great spot because I don't believe him to be a number one, and that's already was a solid wide receiver core that was really good at throwing the ball deep, often drawing penalties, which is baked into their game plan. Waddle will certainly be more useful there, provided that he's healthy. But this notion that the Dolphins are going to miss Jaylen Waddle, I saw over the last few seasons they missed him because he was never on the field consistently.
That's a fair point. I think context obviously matters, and you drop him into a borderline powerhouse Denver team, he's going to be a different player and better for it. I mean, the Jaylen Waddle deal, you guys have gone over this ad nauseum, but a couple months after the fact, why the hell did they sign Malik Willis? It makes no sense if you're going to be trading away Jaylen Waddle. It seems clear that they're trying to set themselves up for next year. All you're doing is hanging Malik Willis out to dry this year.
I don't think what you're saying is unfair, but the gambit is you assume that Jaylen Waddle is good. And I don't think Jaylen Waddle is a difference maker for Malik Willis. So I think what they did was probably have the same eval and said, let's get a couple of picks for this guy because I don't think he's going to help us figure out if Malik Willis is a good quarterback or not.
They sold high. Like they got a good deal for him, and you move on because the reality is your season is going to be shit. And so regardless of whether it's 7 grams of shit or 6.5 grams of shit, it's still a lot of shit on your plate.
Well, look, let's see if we can get an answer from the Love Doctor. Love Talk with Dr. Greg Cody in the house. Should the Dolphin fan feel remorse about losing Jaylen Waddle?
He's a good number 2 receiver. I don't feel too. They made a good trade. They got a lot in return for him, including their second first-round pick. So
Malik Willis disagrees.
Malik Willis knew that when they signed him that they were probably going to trade Jaylen Waddle. Malik Willis is a stopgap. They hope they can be bad enough to get the number 1 draft pick or at least a top 3 draft pick to go for Arch Manning or the kid from Oregon next year. So, I don't think Malik Willis makes them a good team. I think he just gives them a little bit of insurance in case they win 6 games and they don't get the quarterback of their dreams next draft.
This is like when the doctor knows I'm in sports media and he gives me his take while I'm there.
Oh, dude, this is what happens.
Yeah. I like Malik Willis, so I think he's a good player.
I am not hard at all.
Mike, I got something that might work.
Because what happens there, Tony, is they're not actually interested in
In
hearing
your
what you
take.
think. No, they just want to tell you
Their
their
take, 100%.
Yeah, that's it. Awful.
You're like, oh, that's good. I didn't think of that one, actually.
Yeah.
But do they let you book, like, get out of the appointment queue? Like, hey, I need...
Oh, no,
I
he
only
takes
got-
care of me. No,
yeah,
he
there you
takes
go.
care of me.
That's all. That's the quid pro quo, man. I got that with my
We
dentist.
do a private show. Yeah, we're like, oh, what do you think about that? What do you think about this?
I give my dentist 15 minutes a show, man.
Why do you think I have the Dolphins on one TV? It's for when I go to appointments. And they ask me about the Dolphins. I'm like, oh, man, I really don't care genuinely, but I got to fire off something here.
All right, well, while we have the Love Doctor here, we got a long line of listeners who have questions, need advice. Mother's Day advice for the Love Doctor. Let's get in another here.
Hi, I have a question for the love guru, Greg Cody. So it's coming to be like the start of draft season. Football has started. As a sports girlfriend, we have only gotten really like maybe 1 month off, couple weeks off from the sports craze. So my question to you is, as a guy and a sports guy, what can I do as a lady to get some attention back and away from the TV?
Wow, that's a losing battle. I got to be honest. With sports, you can't beat them. You got to join them. So what I recommend is you bring the games into your love life. You need to blend these two things in the throes of passion. As you're about to cross the goal line, if you feel me, lean in and whisper sports updates in his ear. For example, why's baseball need ABS, baby? They can come to me and I'll tell them what a ball looks like. That kind of thing.
I'm with Nick Wright. Gross.
Oh, man.
We got like 8 minutes left in the segment.
I want to try at least.
Can we get back to that Jaylen Brown
Yeah, I
conversation?
want to try and get back to Jaylen Brown
because,
here.
look, we wanted to start this, and we wanted to be the first to have this Jaylen Brown for Giannis conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into the studio, and I saw Windhorse has already gotten the ball.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I will tell you, I heard this about a month and a half ago. that the Celtics, I don't remember where it came from, but that the Celtics are a team to look out for.
Dan mentioned it on the show.
Mark Stein was the first one to
I
write.
thought
there you
about
go.
this a decade ago.
That the Celtics are a team to watch out for with Giannis. And the fact of the matter is, okay, they're not getting Giannis unless they're willing to give up Tatum or Brown. So something has to happen for the Celtics to feel that, okay, we'll trade Tatum or Brown for Giannis. And I would say that the something that has to happen might actually be happening now. So we had all this stuff from Jaylen Brown a couple of days ago, and specifically the one that grabbed a lot of attention was this was his favorite year. Not when they won a championship, not when he won conference MVP, conference finals MVP, not when he won finals MVP. No. This year, where Tatum was not playing and he was an MVP candidate, was his favorite year of his career. And now you have, Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter do a show called Cousins. Great name, by the way. And Tracy McGrady is apparently very tight with Jaylen Brown. Give this a listen.
His frustration lies deeply within the organization and other things that, of course, we don't really have that details to. There's just been a lot of stuff, that I've been hearing just going on with the Boston organization, with JB, so I think part of him is like, I showed you guys more of who I am as a basketball player, not only just, what I did on the basketball court, but the leadership that I displayed within, this team. And you've seen that, not having our, best player in JT. You've seen a different side of me and what I'm able to bring to the game of basketball. So all that stuff, I think just came into play with him and his frustration.
So this is a really interesting thing, even beyond the Giannis part. We can get to the Giannis part in a second. But people, how could you say that? How could you say that this is your favorite season? Why would you want to be somewhere else? You just won a championship there a couple of years ago. And it reminds me of when Kyrie Irving left Cleveland. There was how could you leave, LeBron? How could you guys won a title and the best title ever and all that? How could you leave? And the reality is when you are that good, winning is cool, but sometimes you want to find out, like, look, could I do this if I were the lead dog?
Well, and most of these guys have the ego where they believe I can win there too.
Well, it's not just ego. It's also like a intellectual curiosity. I've told the story before, but years and years ago when Mike Brown was the coach of the Lakers, there was a game where Andrew Bynum's in the game, and Andrew Bynum's still kind of a young player fighting for minutes or whatever. He's getting better, but he's not the Andrew Bynum from when they won the title yet, right? So he gets the ball with like 20 on the shot clock, and he takes a three, and he misses it. And the coach pulls him out and chews him out like, oh, what are you doing? Da, da, da. And after the game, the media all rushes to Kobe's locker because like, oh, Kobe's going to rip this kid a new one for taking that dumb shot or whatever. Hey, Kobe, what'd you think of that shot that Andrew Bynum got benched for? And Kobe sat back and he said, sometimes you have to test the limits of your greatness. Kobe's like, I understand exactly what he's thinking. And I know how much work he's put in, and he wants to know, can I do this? Am I capable of doing this in a game situation? And so that's the kind of a side of the pro athlete that sometimes we don't acknowledge or understand, because in our mind, it's like, if you're winning, let's just keep doing whatever we're doing, and everyone just can be the same forever. And so from that standpoint, I understand what Jaylen Brown's thing is, because winning a championship and even being finals MVP, I was good for a week, 2 weeks in June. I was good for a couple of weeks in late May as well for the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. But this year, he had to be good every single night for a whole year. And is it possible? Am I really good enough to make a team win? Not just win, not be above 500, but I'm talking about one of the best teams in basketball. And the answer was yes. So to have that validation, I understand. Now, having said that, I believe, based on what I'm hearing from Tracy right here, that maybe that stream was a little bit of the, all right, Celtics, you got to shit or get off the pot. And the other part of this, now we can bring the Giannis part. The Celtics have new ownership. You got to remember, in their mind, we didn't win the title. The old guys won the title. So we've got to do whatever it takes to get our titles, to let everyone know, hey, we did everything we could. We did things here that led to a title.
Same goes for the Bucks too.
Same goes for the Bucks, although Edens is still there. But Haslam is the new guy, so he's obviously feels like he's got to do stuff. So if you are the Celtics, here's an interesting question. Let's play this game. Let's just assume they would be the front runner for a Giannis trade because they can offer an all-NBA caliber player. The question is, which one do they offer? Dum, dum, dum.
Well, I think the one they would offer will be the one who pretty much just told us he wants to be the man.
But he can be the man in Boston.
Exactly.
And if you're Boston and last season was a data point, you can't ignore that they defied expectations. And when the other guy came back, the season went south. Now, to his credit, I think he was better than we anticipated coming off of that injury. We knew it would take some time. I think we're all a little stunned that it was a first-round exit. But if I'm looking at it, Jaylen Brown was my finals MVP, not Tatum.
But Tatum has to have a no trade, right?
That's not how that works, buddy.
No.
It's not just negotiated in automatically.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm an ignoramus.
You have to be of a certain age and with the team for a certain number of years.
Yep.
I think, what you get at is a thing that I come back to all the time that you have to kind of keep in mind. These are high-end athletes, and it's fun to watch them try to win and against high-end competition, and we get into the drama of all that. But if it were business rather than basketball, you would be a tremendous asshole to comport yourself like the best guys do in high-end sports. You're an asshole. The distinction between the really talented guys and the guys who are the champions is that Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and all the rest of them are assholes. They are killers, as they say. But this is par for the course. I mean, Shaq and Kobe and Pippen and Jordan, and I think McJesus and Draisaitl are on their way to a divorce too. This is
Chris
Lennon
and his
McCartney.
But for all the talk over the years where the media is trying to form a schism between Tatum and Brown,
Jaylen did it himself.
Now, for the first time, it feels like that could actually be a real thing.
Coming up today on the alley oop, Jaylen Brown, my brother. What are we doing? Come here. We got to talk. We got to have a talk, bro. Also, the New York Knicks fans. We need to have a talk, man. We need to have a talk, bro. We got to have another talk. The legends in the street getting trampled. We can't do that, bro. Also, our sister Trista Crick has refused to do the promo because of how wrong her takes were. You think I'm playing, but it's an actual contractual dispute right now. So lock in if you want to see her.
Featuring In-Flight Magazines.
In-Flight Magazines. Slayed the pandemic. Traveling again. Big bird up. But something's different. I look in the seat pocket in front of me, and all I see is that cardboard pamphlet about the plane that nobody reads. The drink menu nobody needs. And the barf bag. Where's my In-Flight Magazine? Where did it go? Joni was right. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot, and then stole my In-Flight Magazine. These staples of Americana predated even Greg Cody. Pan Am Airways published the first IFM in 1940. Now the high-flying mags are disappearing like donuts in a press box. Southwest Rag, augustly called simply The Magazine, is gone now. Delta Sky, gone. American Way, gone. Retired after 55 years. Alaska and Emirates Airlines, too, gone. Airline magazines falling from the sky one by one. Some others, like United Hemispheres, are now digital only. Blame the pandemic. COVID killed the In-Flight Magazine, or rather gave airlines an excuse to make a cutback like businesses did with remote meetings where the office buildings used to be. But more than that is to blame. The digital era stampeded the helpless handheld mag. In-flight entertainment and mobile browsing happened. Airlines have even claimed noble reasons for discontinuing their magazines like how removing all of them makes planes lighter, which saves on fuel. Sounds like malarkey. Hurtling cabins once were full of rattling newspaper pages held wide. Then those disappeared. And then I was the last flyer still leafing through an in-flight magazine while everybody else was softly chuckling at a movie or listening to music with earbuds. I miss every bit of the airline magazine. The greeting from the airline president, the Penn and Teller at the Rio ad, the dating and hair restoration ads, and the one inviting me to invest in a home care franchise. Things to do in Minneapolis. The list of top 10 steakhouses and America's best plastic surgeons. The crossword puzzle, inevitably half-finished and poorly by a previous seat occupant. Oh, and the feature story on Southwest Customer Service Agent of the Month. You can't get that anywhere else. Most of all, I miss... Anybody else remember Sky Mall? Oh, my gosh. It was Amazon before Amazon, only at 30,000 feet. Talk about built-in marketing. Bored flyers stuck in a cabin for 3 hours slamming cocktails are liable to buy anything, which Sky Mall offered. I'll never forget the time, after 3 or 4 deep eddies, I accidentally bought a life-size Bigfoot garden gnome for $2,250. Airlines, I will gladly pay extra if the bag I check is a pound too heavy. I'll put up with your cancellations, and with a hot meal being replaced by a 1-ounce bag of pretzels. Just please, give me back my in-flight magazine. See, I never played that Sudoku puzzle, but I sure did like knowing it was there. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
The game has changed. Weed is legal now with Stugotz and Greg Cody.
I'll tell a story if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
When I first took the first edible I ever took was in New York, and at the time I was breaking the law. Okay, so now you can feel good about telling your story. And the guy told me, "Hey, just eat half of this." And so I ate half, and I waited.
I want to mention something real quick here before we get back to the Love Doctor. I don't know if you guys have been seeing on the news, on social media, or whatever, but one of my dogs, I have 2 dogs. One of my dogs is a rescue. And as a result, a lot of my algorithm, it's a lot of boobs, but also there's rescue dog stuff that's on my algorithm, which is great, all right, because I love rescue dogs. And so there is, you may have seen on the news, there was a breeding facility in Wisconsin called Ridgeland Farms that tests beagles. They do all kinds of tests on beagles. They
40 time? Or?
No, you know what kind of tests I'm talking about. And they breed these beagles, thousands of beagles, and they just live in cages, these beagles, and they don't go outside, nothing. They're just bred, and they're used for testing. Well, there was an animal rescue down here, actually, called Big Dog Ranch Rescue. It's based down here. And they negotiated essentially a buyout with this Ridgeland Farms, where they are essentially shutting them down. They bought them out, and so they have taken all of these beagles, 1,500 beagles, and they partnered with some other rescues around the country. But like I said, the main one is down here.
Wait a second. You're telling me all I got to do is start a farm with a bunch of beagles and tell people I'm testing them, and someone will come give me money to make me stop doing it? Why? I'll just keep doing it.
All right. So this Big Dog Ranch Rescue has facilitated this, And you could see in the video, I mean, I used to have a Beagle. They're such gorgeous dogs, these dogs. You look at them, they are beautiful. And down here in South Florida, this rescue has like 500 of these Beagles that are soon going to be ready for fostering and or adopting. They're such gorgeous dogs. They're beautiful dogs.
Yeah.
I love Beagles. And so I just wanted to put it out there. If you are interested in fostering or you've thought about getting a dog, this is such a great cause, and I hope you check it out.
I'm thinking about getting a lot of dogs, and then just testing them. I won't tell people
All
what
right.
the tests are.
What's the matter with you?
You know what's funny? The term rescue dog, I swear to God, I'm not trying to be funny. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, up until 4 or 5 years ago, I thought it meant that these dogs were like trained to rescue people. And so it's a rescue dog. I was like, wow. I'm like, it's kind of a little small to be. I mean, but I don't know, man. Maybe just it's like Lassie, it alerts people or whatever. And so finally, someone told me, like, no. We rescued them. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be rescued dog as opposed to rescue dog? Rescue dog sounds like it's rescuing. Rescued means it was rescued.
Michelle Beagle.
Well, it's because they come from an animal rescue. So they're rescue dogs.
But
That's
aren't
where it
they?
gets that.
I think this is a lovely thing and good for you to promote it and all that. But aren't these Beagles all injected with various diseases? Like, hey, I got a Beagle who has lupus.
I'm sure they're all being checked out, and hopefully, they're okay. But, I mean, these dogs, and if you see in the videos, again, like it's all over social media, all over the news, they've never even been outside. They're touching grass for the first time. They're such beautiful dogs, and I highly recommend
Wait a second. They've never been outside? That dog can't be well adjusted.
You're
They're
right,
coming
they're
to
not.
a home, and it's going to be like, what's
You're right.
this?
You're right.
Amin has taken on an important cause, trying to denounce these Beagles, these poor abused Beagles. I have a question.
I'm glad that Zaz is finally getting support here.
Chris Cody, I have
boy.
a question for you. Is your wife's
Here we go.
twin sister married?
Yes.
She is. And I obviously assume you've spent
Dave,
a
don't
fair
do
amount
this.
of time
To a
around this
firefighter.
guy.
Dave, don't do this.
To a firefighter.
And he's in the ginger. He's not a purebred.
Oh, so this is a fetishization.
He's a ginger mutt.
So wow. So they both
They have a type.
fancy gingers. Now the twin sister
up?
went fireman.
Yes. And my wife went
People
podcast producer.
I've noticed a lot of women like to say like, "Oh, those firefighters, boy, they get those calendars, hang them up."
He's all right though. He's not one of the good ones.
You don't have you done the math on that? I mean, it's a pretty easy evaluation. They look exactly alike, but I like her a little bit more because of her whimsical sense of humor.
I'm kind of done with this game.
What is who do you like better, the firefighter or Chris Cody? Who do you like better?
Wow. I'll say me just to save face.
Who would you go for? Who won? Can you objectively, do you have a photo of this guy? Do you have a photo of the firefighter?
I don't want to do this.
I would like to do it. I'd like to see a side by side, and I'd like to vote which way we would all go.
So-
Chris Cody or this unknown firefighter.
So, Dave, just to be clear, we want for Chris Cody's lovely wife to find out not only does her husband fantasize about her twin sister, but also that she picked the wrong husband.
Hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Goose.
Says the guy
You
who
would
talks
know.
like
Hey,
a goose.
I can tell you, she got the good one.
Whoa, wait, hold on.
Put
What's
you
wrong
right
with the
there.
firefighter?
Yeah.
Hold on.
No, I've got to be on team me. If I'm not on team me, who's on team me?
Can we get a picture of this guy, and we'll make that
I'm not doing
decision who's better.
Ted Turner, the larger-than-life media mogul who revolutionized cable television and the Monday Night Wars, has passed away at 87 years old. I could have sworn he died long ago.
Me too.
Was he still married to Jane Fonda? No, right?
No.
Come on, man.
Long
What do you mean,
divorce.
come on? That's like a
Hanoi
known
Jane.
thing?
Hanoi Jane.
Invented the
How old is this
Superstation.
show? He invented Superstation, TBS.
Yep.
That's the reason why there are millions of Braves fans.
Yep.
Despite never having set foot in the state of Georgia.
Remember when TBS went Superstation, all the shows used to start at 05.
Really?
Thought that was weird.
Really? You didn't know that?
I thought that
yeah.
was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, they start a few minutes after the hour.
Beverly Hillbillies. 6:05
Yep.
Eastern.
05, that's right.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That TBS make everybody a Braves fan gambit didn't really work out over the long haul, did it? I don't know very many Braves fans.
I know some because
I think you're wrong. Yeah.
Down here in South Florida,
I think it absolutely worked for a minute there.
It has to be somewhere where there wasn't a team.
Yeah,
like here.
Yeah, my generation, they kind of had that a little
Yeah.
bit. And they
I
kind of
guess
grew up
so.
simultaneously, liking the Marlins and the Braves. And also, it lined up with the Braves kind of having a dominant 90s.
But also, like, if you're from Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina,
Sure.
Alabama, Mississippi,
You didn't have a
Louisiana,
team.
Like, you didn't have a team, so that was the team that was on. In the same way that people from Iowa, the same people from Iowa are all Bulls and Cubs fans because of the WGN.
Yeah. When I went to the DR years ago, when I was a little kid, they had WGN, and there were a ton.
I was a
of
Cubs fan
fans.
growing up because of WGN before we had the Marlins.
That's
also they
not
had
what he
Sosa.
looks like.
I just saw that. Holy shit.
I think that's what happened. I think the Cubs got in on the Braves business and trumped them. I think people say, "Oh, Harry Carey's way better than the fellas calling the game for the Braves," and now we're all Cubs fans. They became America's team.
Skip Carey.
You can have a second team in baseball.
We have a lot of listeners who are trying to get questions in to the very busy Love Doctor. The Love Doctor, of course, is Greg Cody. Greg, are you ready to field another question here from one of your patients?
Let's go.
Hey, this is Dat. Just wondering if you are obligated to get your ex-wife a Mother's Day gift outside of the gifts you get that are supposedly from the children.
Oh, wow. I think a lot of this depends on whether you're happily divorced or not. But let's keep this simple. The gifts that you buy your ex-wife that are supposedly from your children should be such cheap and monumentally rotten gifts that they make your vindictive, conspicuous non-gift seem great by comparison. Do it.
Wonderful advice. Greg, while we have some time here, though, there was a new episode, of course, The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. Can we update your catchphrase list?
Sure. I just happen to have it with me.
What numbers are we on now? 15 and 16? Does that sound about right?
We are on 16 and 15. We go sequentially in reverse order. So 16 and 15.
I mean, that was not a necessary correction.
Yeah, well, I'm a perfectionist.
All right. All right, let's just get right to it. We don't have to go from 50, right? Let's just get right to it, right? Do you want to count from 50? What do you think, Chris?
It's his thing.
All right, it's his
Recap
thing.
them.
Are you ready to count from 50? You ready to do the whole thing, Doc?
Yeah, I'll do it quickly because there's quite a few here. Number 50, I'm Fullerton Vern Fuller. 49, where's my click? 48, hey, but a finger. 47, punt. 46, Scranton. 45, I'm busy in a one-arm paper hanger. 44, Georgia. 43, I'm the kind of guy that 42, ballin' the jack. 41, hey, with the monkeys, baby. 40, thank you, Billy. 39, I love him like a pet. 38, who made it a salad? 37, we're rolling now, huh? 36, your brain beating me. 35, let's go States. 34, driver comfort is paramount. 33, dummy up, save up. 32, catches catch can. 31, doesn't make it right. 30, so on and so forth. 29, very good. 28, the Little League theory. 27, nice hat, asshole. 26, the others, they all learn from me. 25, don't go showering to try to please me. 24, look at that jerk. 23, it's like a packing house in here. There should be hams hanging from hooks. 22, would you learn? 21, hee-haw. 3, badamp. 20, I'm not going to take a quiz. 19, sassafras. 18, what we do, break a window? 17, hello. And now, number 16. Who won? Wow. Okay.
They just played Freebird.
And number 15. Trailers for sale or rent.
Yeah.
Rooms to let 50 cents.
I'm Greg Cody, and
that's how it was.
Back in my day.
We're getting to the portion of the concert where it's just banger after banger.
Lighters are out, pants are off.
Banging it.
What do we got? We have like another 7 weeks then, maybe?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we drag this thing on. We drag it on, baby.
All right.
Hey, Dr. Love, who's more handsome, Chris or the firefighter?
Boy, you are really trying to dig a deeper hole here, aren't you, for my poor son? I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment.
I don't like. You should just say me. You should say me.
You.
Yeah, an abstent.
My son. Of course.
Doesn't make it right.
It does make it right. Oh, wait a minute. That was my inside voice saying
Look at that
so.
jerk.
How do I look in this hat, by the way?
Great.
Normally, I only wear this when I'm doing surgery. I just had an old fashioned to sort of calm my nerves, but because I'm going into the op room right after we do this bit.
Greg, you could pass for a doctor.
Thank you.
I look at you and I'm like, you know what? That's the kind of guy. You're the kind of guy that could pass for a doctor.
I'm the kind of guy that should have a scalpel in his hand.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And a couple old fashions.
By the way, we started on the Greg Cody Show this week a segment called "I'm the kind of guy that," where you just go around and we all say things that we're the kind of guy that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good bit. Can we steal that bit?
I think one dad you had was, "I'm the kind of guy that likes to climb ladders."
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, and I told the story about, and this is a hand on heart, a true story. I'm the kind of guy that will climb a stepladder alone in his garage up 2 steps to try to envision how it would look to be Victor Wembanyama or somebody extra tall. I like to imagine myself as being extraordinarily tall, so the easy way to do it is to climb 2 steps on a ladder. Everybody should try that, Everybody relate to the taller people.
Can you also try talking directly into the mic and not the side of it?
Oh, sorry. Okay. It's natural to do this for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that doesn't work for audio.
Hey, that kind of thing. Am I right, Rory?
Whoa!
You look like a gangster shooting the gun sideways because
I
it looks
know,
cooler.
right? Baby. All right. Nice chatting with you.
All right. We'll be back with more Dr. Greg Cody at some point. Amin, have you seen there's a pretty nasty beef right now. I don't know, I guess like sports media beef. No, NBA player beef.
NBA player beef, I would say.
Is that the best way to put it?
Just
Yeah.
because they have media outlets that they use to project this stuff doesn't make it media beef.
It's kind of nasty right now between Draymond Green and Austin Rivers. So if I can give a little context here, we all saw, it was like a week ago, Draymond Green's got a podcast because everyone has a podcast. If you don't, you're a huge loser. And Draymond Green on the Draymond Green show was talking about Steve Kerr. And what stood out was he said Steve Kerr hindered part of his career, that he could have been a better offensive player if not for Steve Kerr holding him back. And on the Dan Patrick show, Austin Rivers, who's now strictly like media, he's NBC, Peacock does the games. Austin Rivers, I guess was, didn't think that was a, respectful thing to say, I guess, about Steve Kerr and all that he has done for Draymond Green's career. So here was Draymond, if I can give you a little backstory here. Here was Draymond responding to Austin Rivers.
I saw he said he's bewildered and it's ridiculous of what I said. And I just find it interesting that a guy who was the 10th pick in my draft, I was 35, who's on his second act, still on act 1. He goes, Draymond, never been a scorer. Austin, you and I averaged the same amount of points in high school. And I say high school because that's when you were at your best. And then in college, he was still good. He was very featured at Duke because NBA careers, should he really talk about my NBA career? I'm still with my first team. He was gone from his first team in 2 years. The guy received the biggest bailout in U.S. history prior to President Trump bailing out the airlines when his dad gave him $42 million.
All right, so
an ally with our airline stance.
Yeah,
it's really growing in momentum.
Love Draymond.
So now Austin Reeves, of course,
Austin Rivers. Austin Reeves is a white guy.
Excuse me.
With zero muscle definition.
Austin Rivers has to.
Austin is a lousy name for a baby and a grown-up, right?
I agree.
What, Austin the baby? That's what you're gonna name it? Weird.
Austin Matthews.
Not interested. And
So-
also Austin the grown man.
We're workshopping here.
I know a big Austin, like an older Austin, like a 30s Austin, and I'm like, oh, we don't call him Austin. We call him Coacher.
Hey, you got to change it. You don't want
No, the coach. He's a coach, so we call him Coacher because we don't like
Coacher?
Austin. Yeah, Austin's weird.
Go hard ER, huh?
Yeah, we do. Coacher.
Coach up.
So Austin Rivers has to respond now. So here's a little bit of Austin Rivers because he went at Draymond. So here's Austin Rivers on the comparison of their early careers.
Belittling my career. First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about our numbers being similar. I did it at the national level, the top level. Hence why I got the Naismith Award, and I got pretty much every award you could think of in high school. I was ranked number 1. You were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next. College, you actually were solid. You were actually a really good college basketball player, but it's hard to compare because I was only there for 6 months. Something you could never do. Talk about I was, one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All-ACC, freshman player of the year, lottery pick. Stop.
All right. I think everyone agrees. And I can't believe we're talking about this with, at a certain point in time, world-class athletes. There is nothing lamer than high school glory days guy. I mean, we're 20 years removed. What are we doing?
Well, Draymond's the one who brought it up.
Yeah, but come on. Like, your comeback is, like, in high school, I was better than you, pal. Like, what are we doing? That is so lame.
Guys, Draymond put a box with a twig and a little rope on it and put a banana. And dumbass Austin Rivers went in there like, "Ooh, a free banana!" That was a trap. He said, we could compare high school because that was the best you've ever been in your life.
And then he proved
that was the peak of your life. And he said, even then, we were peers. And also, no, we wasn't. I was like, you just proved what a doofus you were. You had all the advantages. And we're not just talking about advantages of the starting point of being number 1 and number 2 in the high school class, but also the advantages of a father who not only played in the league, but coaches in the league, all the resources, all the money, the definition of born on third base and thinks he hit a triple. Austin Rivers, and he took it hook, line, and sinker. We can have a conversation about Draymond and Steve Kerr. I think that's a more fascinating conversation to have than doofus with a microphone, like trying to say, "Hey, I remember I dated the captain of the cheerleading team," and all that. It's so dumb, dude. You sound ridiculous. And again, full disclosure, I've had my run-ins with Austin as well, and I told him, I was like, "This is why nobody liked you, dude."
Really?
I told him straight up, like, "Oh, you can ask any of my teammates." Like, trust me.
Why did you have a run-in with him?
Well, so years and years ago, when Austin was playing poorly, I might add, I was very critical. Critical, fair, critical.
On ESPN.
On ESPN, yeah.
But wait, he's better at basketball than you, so who are you to step into that conversation?
Wild how that works.
Well, I mean, listen, that's exactly what you're doing. You're taking Draymond's side because he's better than Austin Rivers, and so therefore we should take Draymond's word over this.
No. That's not what I did.
Okay.
What I said was Draymond set the trap of, hey, let's talk about high school because that's the peak of your career. And Austin, rather than saying, look, man, like everyone was great in high school, took the bait and started beating his chest about his high school career.
Yeah, that was dumb. I agree. He's a chip on his shoulder.
He panned to the Naismith.
He did.
He gave a little lean.
He did.
This is Al Bundy, ladies and gentlemen. This is Al Bundy talking about the 4 touchdowns at Polk High.
Okay, so you said things on ESPN.
So I said things, and Austin's brother, who I think, I guess was on the Bucs staff, Spencer Rivers, I want to say is his name, was like talking trash to me real time on Twitter while I was talking about some game or whatever.
While he's an assistant coach?
No, he was in high school, college or whatever. He was or whatever he was. I don't know what he was doing. Anyway, so he talked some shit. I was like, whatever, dude. And then he's like, no, let's fight or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? And right as he said that, like Austin blew a wide open dunk on ESPN, and I was like, oh, could not have framed this better. So I go to the Clipper game, the very next home Clipper game, I go to it, right? And so that's my thing. If I say stuff about players, look, I'm not going to go out of my own travel cross country, but if I'm in town and you're in town, I'm going to go to the game. I sit there, and I sit right there courtside. If you have something to say to me, you can come say it to me to my face. It's happened several times over the course of my career. So I sit there. He comes out. He warms up. I'm not going to interrupt his warm-up. He doesn't see me or maybe ignores me or whatever, does his thing, whatever. I go to the back. The Clippers PR is like, oh, did you talk to Austin? I'm like, well, no. He's like, oh, I'll tell Austin you're here. I'm like, okay, fine. Tell him I'm here. I'm not running away from this. So I end up in the back tunnel in Staples outside the locker rooms. And one by one, people are coming out, right? And Chris Paul comes out, and he looks at me, but he's got his kid with him. Like, he wants to say something, but he's like, whatever. And then Jeff Green walks out, and he's just kind of like, his eyes get wide.
So, like, they all know that you said something about their teammate?
They all know, right?
They all watch. They all watch. They all listen. They all read.
The last person who comes out is Austin. And Austin walks up to me and says, hey, man, have I done something to wrong you? I'm like, I'm ready for, all right, here it comes, whatever. And I was like, what? And he's like, no, I just feel like you really pick on me. And I said, no, man, I'm just what I am. I'm critical. I would do this to everybody. I'm not, I might do it in an asshole way, but it's not personal. He's like, no, it feels personal with me. And I said, it's not personal. And there's a couple beat writers. I'm like, so-and-so, is it personal or am I just an asshole? And they're like, he's just an asshole. And then so-and-so, same thing. And then, yeah, he's just an asshole. And then Jared Dudley comes out. And I said, Jared, is it personal or am I just an asshole? And Jared says, no, he's an asshole. Let's kick his ass. So, is he obviously joking? And Austin's like, no, don't do that. No, I don't think that's right. And I saw what my brother said, and I told him not to do that, and that's not cool. And as he's talking, I'm like, damn, man, like, he seems like a pretty okay guy.
Yeah,
man.
sounds like it to me.
I started to feel bad.
Yeah.
And then he said, but I'm going to win most improved player. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And he walked on, right? And so, for me, I've told that story for years about, like, I thought it was going to be contentious.
That sounds nice.
But he was real nice, right? Fast forward to some dumbass, like, aggregator posted a video of my jump shot and was like, this man has the temerity to convince people on the NBA, but he shoots it like this. Like, that's exactly how the guy sounded. I'm like, yo. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But one of the comments under it is Austin Rivers. This guy's a bum and he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, word? You want to play that game? So I hit him back with like, yo. I hit him back on weekend observations. I said, it's not my fault that nobody likes you, that your teammates didn't like playing with you, that you think that the reason you're out of the league is the CBA, but the real reason is because you just weren't that good enough to stick around. And, and he's like, that's not true. My teammates, he did the same thing. But I'm like, whatever, dude. So fast forward to this thing right here. He's talking. Draymond sets the bait. He falls for the bait. He falls in the banana and tailpipe, all that stuff, right? But the reality is, Austin Rivers does not possess the self-awareness to be properly critical of the game. Everything he says, you watch, everyone listening to this right now, when you watch him do broadcasts, you're going to notice everything he says is through the prism of like how I would have done it or what I did it or what, like he does not know how to just critique the game. It's always about him because he still thinks, damn, I should be out there. I guarantee you he's watching these playoffs like, I'm better than that guy. I should be out there.
Do you want to hear any more of Austin Rivers? I mean, he went at Draymond Green's NBA career, too.
I think, no, I don't care what he has to say. I would like to have a conversation about Draymond and his comments because I think they're fascinating.
All right, well, first, let's check back in with the Love Doctor here. He's got an opening in his schedule now, so we may as well let another one of our listeners get in a very important question with Mother's Day ahead for the Love Doctor.
I've been dating this new girl for about a month now. We've been doing a lot of fun things, a lot of expensive things. And my question to you, Greg, Mr. Love Guru, is how do I ask this woman to be my girlfriend? She told me she already essentially said yes. I just got to do it in a lovely way.
Oh, man. I have just a way for you because it worked for me, okay? It's fail-safe.
Spit on it.
Here's what you do. You do it without words. You ask her without words.
That kind of thing.
Here's the drill. Take your bestie out to the finest restaurant in town. Candlelight dinner. The whole 9 yards. But the best part is yet to come. You take her back to your apartment.
Baby.
And then you imagine the look of delight on her face when she sees that you have spelled out, would you be my girlfriend, with 147 empty Miller Lite bottles.
It's a white trash proposal.
Baby.
Classy one.
Damn right. It worked.
Is that
Fail
cucking
safe.
in the window?
Yo! Why am I in the window?
Nice hat, asshole.
Miller Lite, proud partner of the Dan Le Batard Show for most of its existence. We're gonna have a chat.
Zaz, get out of my window.
It's the other window.
It's a
Greg.
peeping Tom over here. Peeping Zaz. Ridiculum. Cocking it.
All right. Thank you, Love Doctor. Go ahead, Amin.
All right. So Draymond's thing is like, Steve Kerr helped me become a champion, but I can't help but
Draymond is being a dick there. What he's saying about Austin Rivers.
No, because
of course he is, Zaz.
What, being a dick about what Steve Kerr said, or what he said about Steve Kerr?
No, what he's saying Austin Rivers. Like, what's the point? Like,
No.
instead of reacting to what Austin Rivers said on the Dan Patrick Show, he's attacking the messenger instead of the message.
That's exactly right. And by the way, Austin Rivers' better response, instead of taking the bait, would have been like, hey, by the way, if we're getting into this, who are you to talk about football, Draymond Green? You never played pro football.
Right, like
so
it's
who are you
it's
to
such a
opine on
tired,
it?
like we did this the other day, right? Where no, you can't talk about this. So when Draymond Green's going to be in television, right? Most likely when he's done with his career. So anytime, like we're talking about Jokic, like Draymond's not allowed to talk about Jokic, I guess, right?
Amin's never been the star of a movie, so who's he to talk about movies, right? I mean, if we start applying that measure,
it's not a good point.
The idea is this: that Draymond again is not even. It's like I don't have to entertain what this guy is saying. And by the way, neither should we. Like I said, the more important and interesting conversation is what Draymond said about Steve Kerr. What he has to say about Austin Rivers, I don't give a shit, because Austin Rivers is irrelevant in that way. There's no part of this that advances the story or the idea of what Draymond is talking about.
I guess.
So, in terms of what Draymond's talking about for Steve Kerr, say that Steve Kerr helped him, but in some ways hindered him. And it goes to the heart of, like, when you play team sports, what is a word that comes up all the time? Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Meaning, I am going to give something up in order to be for the greater good of the team. The reality is that you being the best version of yourself isn't always congruent with the team concept. Years ago, Mike, remember I was telling you that Dwayne Wade needs to change, because he can still be Dwayne Wade, puts up all those numbers, but this team's not going to be good. It can be good in service of that, but in terms of winning, that's not the best thing. The best thing is if he takes a smaller role, he ends up leaving. When he comes back, he embraces that smaller role, and I think the team was better off for it. So Draymond, I think it's fair to say he did that. He hindered his offensive development because that's not what the team needed from him. They needed him to be a passer, they needed him to be a defender, they needed him to do all those things, right? The year where Steve Kerr was hurt and Luke Walton was the head coach, Draymond shot almost 40% from three. And he was putting up great numbers and was a driving force to a team that won 70-plus games. So it can't help but be in his mind like, whoa, what would have happened if I had been allowed to continue down that path? Now, I maybe not be as successful a winner had I done that. But in terms of like what we're talking about Jaylen Brown, like how good am I? That's a question, of course, every player has to think about.
I think that this pairs up neatly with what Mike Ryan was talking about yesterday with Rudy Gobert and giving him his flowers for now 2 rounds of high-end, centers that are, you would put on a piece of paper better than Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert is only playing 2-dimensional basketball. You're not asking him to be the 3-dimensional player that he's going up against. You're asking him to play defense. Focus on that, Rudy. You don't have to do anything at the other end of the floor. I think the most severe examples of that, I think, are in basketball. I always invoke Kurt Rambis. Kurt Rambis is not a rotational guy on bad teams, but he's a starter on the Lakers because he is do one thing, Kurt Rambis, and Rick Fox to a lesser degree is also that on those Lakers teams. You're not in the 6 or 7 first names mentioned by any coach, except in that Lakers situation. If you just do this one or two things for us, Rick, we're a better collective.
Well, Rick Fox is different because Rick Fox was actually the best player on the Celtics. Celtics weren't good, but he was like one of their lead players.
I mean, Iguodala was like that.
Then he gets to L.A., and it's like, hey, we need you to fit this role. I talk about this all the time. The most important question every player needs to be able to answer accurately and truthfully is, who am I? Because if you answer that question correctly, it will lead to the best possible kind of career in terms of helping the team be successful. If you answer incorrectly, you end up like Austin Rivers, always like, well, I should be this, but you're not, right? And that's the key. Draymond Green accepted the answer to who am I is to do these things. And when we do these things, we're a championship team, and I'm a Hall of Famer. But there's a part of him, of course, that's going to wonder, what if I had said, wait, hold on, I don't want to stunt my offensive growth. I want bigger roles. I want plays called for me. I want to find out where my limits are.
I hear you, but it sounds to me like he is putting himself into a Scottie Pippen type of level player. Were it not for me accepting being the 1A, being the riding shotgun to the guy on the team, Scottie Pippen actually could elevate. I don't buy that Draymond Green is that for a half decade is the best player on a good team.
I think you can make the argument that Draymond Green's like the Michael Jordan of Robert Ory's.
Yeah. Look, Coach David Thorpe had this concept. He called it royal jelly, right? And in bee colonies, the bee that is going to be queen, they feed her the royal jelly, the very highest grade of like the honey, because they want her to be big and strong and be a great queen, right? In basketball, like when you have players that are fed the royal jelly, meaning we are exhausting all resources to maximize your development in every single way. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama is a guy who's getting royal jelly. Obviously, someone like Cooper Flagg is getting royal jelly, right? Anthony Edwards. These guys are these are anointed. Usually it's top picks or whatever. Sometimes it's a guy that comes out of obscurity. So Kawhi Leonard wasn't a guy getting royal jelly, but at some point the Spurs realized, oh, he's better than just a 3-and-D guy. Feed him the royal jelly, and then he turns into a superstar.
Jaylen Brunson.
Jaylen Brunson's another good name.
The
There you go, right? So for Draymond Green, you're saying I couldn't see him happening like that way. And I agree with you, but a lot of that is because early in his career, he wasn't fed royal jelly, meaning not the time, the resources, and also the opportunity to try these things in game, right? And because he's not getting that, his growth is stunted, and he grows up to be, again, a Hall of Famer, but a very different kind of player than he would have been had we taken everything into saying, hey, we're going to make him the best possible player.
I mean, but it's the intellectual seesaw of, do I want to win or do I want to have my cake and eat it too on a great team, or be the best player on a team that may not be great, right? And it's like, how far can I push my limits? How far can I challenge myself? And we're looking at Jaylen Brown being like, I can look at that Atlanta roster and maybe I can be the guy to get them over the hump, right? They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago. Maybe I'm the guy, the missing piece that's there. I've already done it here. I'm not simulated here anymore.
That's
in
a
Boston.
great what he has done. Jaylen Brunson has created a bunch of other guys around the league who think he did it. Maybe I could do it too. That's dangerous for the general managers of the NBA.
I mean, it's dangerous unless you pick the right one, right? And so Tracy McGrady. It's ironic that we had Tracy on with Vince on their podcast because they were teammates, and Vince Carter was a global superstar. He was NBA darling, media hit. Ratings every time he was on TV. And Tracy was a really good player. Like, oh, he's a good young player. It's his little cousin. They're cousins. They play together. Little cousin. Little cousin's pretty good. And when Tracy decided to leave and go to Orlando, everyone said, what are you doing? You guys together. It's a great 1-2 duo. You guys are going to run the East in a couple of years. Why would you leave to go to Orlando of all places? They're not good. They don't have anybody. And he goes there, and he's the number 2 build guy, by the way. Grant Hill's the number 1 build guy. But Grant Hill is hurt. So Tracy McGrady plays, and he plays a lot, and he has full control of the offense. And guess what we found out? Tracy McGrady, pretty fucking amazing at basketball. And that changes his entire life right there. That decision to say, I'm going to leave comfort, I'm going to leave where this thing is and where everyone tells me you're good being just you, I'm going to go take that chance. Now, there are countless examples of people who took the chance and flamed out. Trevor Ariza left the Lakers after winning a championship thinking he could be an all-star. He wasn't. Aaron Aflalo left the Nuggets thinking that he could be an all-star. He wasn't, right? It happens a lot. But I don't fault guys, especially if they've already won, to kind of take that chance. I want to know where my limits are.
Let's check back in with the Love Doctor here. We have another patient who needs that advice. with Mother's Day this weekend. Go ahead.
Hey, Greg, is it okay to bring a fake date to Mother's Day just so my mom relaxes?
Oh, my God. Mom's a little judgy, huh? No. Don't come off as desperate. The last thing you want to do is bring a fake date to Mother's Day. You want to bring 2 fake dates. You want one on each arm. And you want to be super touchy, super flirty, like your mom has never seen. It's like, what's my daughter? Ménage à trois. You want mom to think that you not only have a boyfriend, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you're going to leave her. When you leave with your 2 boyfriends, she's going to be a nervous wreck. But she's no longer ever going to push you to have a boyfriend. You've solved your problem.
DP in it.
Take that advice.
All right, guys, the NBA playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, brings the excitement every game, all postseason long. When the lights get brightest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Bet player props, bet live, and stay in the action the entire time. New DraftKings customers, bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DAN so you're ready for the moment. That's code DAN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Yeah.